end result of learning and drilling the cage system as taught in the last lesson is the ability to name and locate any note on the fretboard that we need to get hold of. Now it also forms the foundation of a system that enables you ultimately to play any scale, chord, mode or arpeggio in any position on the fretboard in any key. Very powerful system. But to take it to this level, we need to, as a next step, learn to play any major scale in any position in any key. And that's what this exercise today is going to cover. Now once you've learnt where all your major scales are, it's simply really a matter of learning your formulas for all the other things, and you'll then be able to find those as well. Everything's based on the major scale. So this is another very, very sort of central and crucial lesson. These are really powerful sandwiches. So let's tuck in. First, let's just take another view of the cage system pattern. If you look closely, you'll see that it's really just a collection of diagonal octave patterns. Now these patterns actually just boil down to two basic types. There's a basic forward diagonal pattern. This is, if you like, 2 frets up by 2 strings across. I call it a 2 by 2. And then there's the backward diagonal pattern. Notice I put my little finger on the 6th string there to get that one. And this is basically 3 frets back by 3 frets across. So that's a 3 by 3 or a 3 by -3 if you like. So forward diagonal, backward diagonal. We can use these patterns anywhere at all off the 6th string, and they'll always produce an octave. But now let's explore what happens if we move these patterns vertically across the strings. Firstly, the forward diagonal. It works fine off the 6th string. It works just as well off the 5th string. Exactly the same pattern, 2 by 2. But when I play it off the 4th string, it has to be stretched out. Now this is to accommodate something I refer to as the 2nd string tuning anomaly. That sounds like something out of science fiction. But all it is, if you've ever followed the basic manual tuning method, you'll know that when we tune the strings, we tune the 5th string to the 6th string played at the 5th fret, and likewise the 4th string to the 5th string played at the 5th fret, the 3rd string to the 4th string played at the 5th fret. But when we come to this string, it's kind of like the odd one out, and we jump back to the 4th fret to tune that string, and then we're back to the 5th fret for the top pair. So between these 2 strings here, there's kind of like a fault line that messes up all our patterns on the guitar. So when we're playing these octave patterns and we encounter that 2nd string, we have to stretch it out to accommodate that, and that's still being accommodated in that top pattern as well. So in effect, from our original first basic forward diagonal, we've got 4 varieties. I call them ordinary forward diagonals and stretched forward diagonals, stretched to accommodate the 2nd string. Likewise with the backward diagonals, no problem off the 6th string, but immediately I come off the 5th string, I'm already going to bump into that problem with the 2nd string and have to effectively shrink the pattern to accommodate that. So off the 6th string I go 3 frets back, 3 strings up, but off the 5th string I'll go 3 frets back, 2 frets back and 3 strings up. And that same pattern works off the 4th string as well. So, in conclusion, I've got 4 forward diagonal patterns, whoops, 2 ordinary ones, 2 stretch ones, and I've got 3 backward diagonal ones, 1 ordinary one and 2 shrunk ones, and that gives me 7 patterns in all. Going back to our cage system for a moment, we can see that the cage system, as we've drilled it, comprises all 7 of those diagonal patterns that we've just mentioned. The 4 forward ones, the 3 backward ones, laid out in a way that overlaps. So the C shape, for example, is a shrunk backward diagonal pattern. The A shape is a normal forward diagonal pattern. The G shape is made up of a normal backward diagonal plus a stretched forward diagonal. The E shape is a normal forward diagonal plus a shrunk backward diagonal. The D shape is a stretched forward diagonal. So you can see how what we've just looked at is just a different view of the same thing. Now you may like to take a bit of time out now to just work on those diagonal patterns for yourself and mess around with them a bit. And then it's on to the next step when we start making the sandwiches. It's not a moment too soon really, because I'm ready for my lunch. A sandwich consists of 2 slices of bread and a filling. Eventually we're going to show you how to make sandwiches with all kinds of different fillings. But as it's your first day at the sandwich making factory, today we're just going to work on making sandwiches with major scale fillings. Once you can do this easily, you'll find it relatively easy to then progress from there to making them with the other fillings. Okay, now we're going to work at fret 5 by way of example, but everything I'm showing you here you could equally easily do at any fret on the guitar from fret 3 up to fret 20. So, first, our first slice of bread, which is the octave pattern. Then the filling, which is the major scale played up and down between that octave pattern. And then the other slice of bread to finish the sandwich off, another octave pattern. So a sandwich consists of 1 slice of bread, the filling, and another slice of bread. And you're sandwiching a scale between 2 octave patterns. Now, hopefully, if you're doing this lesson, you will already have completed the lesson about the major scale formula. If you haven't, here's just a very quick reminder. You have to think in terms of a tone or a whole step, another whole step, another tone, half step or semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So that's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's how you remember the major scale. For most of us, our ears tell us when we've got it right. Okay, so once you've played your made your sandwich there, move across to the next string and do exactly the same again. 1 slice of bread, filling, another slice of bread. Notice the fingering's identical. When I move across to the next string, however, it's a stretch forward diagonal, so that's going to alter the way we put the filling in. As I start my major scale, I get to that point, and now I've encountered the second string. I have to think of moving my hand up a fret to complete the pattern. So actually the fingering's the same as long as you remember just to make that shift. So there we go, that's our third sandwich. And then our fourth forward diagonal sandwich. It's slightly different. On all the other ones we've worked from our second finger to reach the third note there. But when we're on this one, in effect the second string tuning anomaly has brought that third note up a fret. So we can start on our first finger. We don't need to reach back at all. Now, forward diagonal sandwich exercises are very much white bread sandwiches, and a lot of guitarists just settle for that. But I want to tempt you to also try some of these tasty brown bread sandwiches as well, that I call backward diagonal sandwich exercises. They're a little bit harder, but really quite tasty once you get used to them. Okay, so